Hi, I'm Roberto Martinez and you're watching Toffee TV.
Right, it's the match preview. Everton versus Newcastle. We've got all that transfer deadline day nonsense out the way. It's back to business. Newcastle have bought 87 players to make sure that everyone gets a free coat when they stay up. Well done, Mike Ashley. So signings wise, four new signings Newcastle brought in this month? Baz?
Yeah.
So I mean, is that good? Is it four?
It could be 5 because we are recording this before the deadline has finished. They've brought John Joe Shelby in for 12 million. Yeah. They've brought Doumbia in from Roma on loan till the end of the season with a view to a permanent. They've brought in Townsend for about 12 million as well. And they've probably bought 32 French players as well.
Yeah, I think
they have brought someone else.
Is that going to help them or hinder them? Because you would expect a couple of them to go straight into the team. Obviously, Shelby's already in the team, so you'd expect them to go straight into the team. They had no game this weekend either, no FA Cup game, because they got knocked out. So, the first one, the fact that they've got those new players, do you think that will be a help or a hindrance going into this game?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it obviously can work both ways. They can give that new player can want to impress or whatever, give you that bounce sometimes, that boost you need. Or it could go the other way, where obviously it takes a few weeks to bed in. I think the players they've got, Shelby, he's certainly talented, but he's up and down, isn't he? You don't know what you're going to get
got
for
an attitude problem.
But he's got a bad attitude. Andros Townsend, a couple of years ago looked like a real player, didn't he? Fell away a bit at Spurs of late, but he's certainly talented.
He's another one with an attitude. He fell out with a coach at Spurs and was just kicked out the team, basically. So he's obviously... Why do these people always seem to find the way to Newcastle? What is it about Newcastle? And having no morals?
I think sometimes with players is that the best way to get them in is if they are having problems. Because some of these players you wouldn't get out of clubs unless there was something behind them. Townsend would have kept his head down. You looked at that Spurs team the other week who were going very well, but does Lamella really offer you more than Townsend in terms of...
Yes, he does, Baz. Without
Lamella is good.
Yes, he does, Baz. Yes, he does.
All right, in the squad.
Yeah, but if you've got a bad apple, you just get rid of him.
Well, that's your opinion. He's a bad apple. But I think he's got a decent shot on him. He could be fantastic for Newcastle, or it could go the other way. Doumbia is obviously very good in Russia. Gone to Roma, hasn't quite worked out at Roma. So they've got to take a chance on him. And the other thing, mate, is that Newcastle are in a precarious position. And this summer, it's big money.
Why did he do it every year though? Why did he they just have buy crap in the summer? It doesn't really seem to work out. Then they go and buy more crap in January. They just save themselves, and then they go and buy more crap in the summer. And it just seems to be like I don't quite understand the whole Newcastle thing. And this is not slagging Newcastle off. This is basically saying I don't understand the fundamentals of that football club, the way it works. They just can never they just never let a side bed in or a manager bed in or it just seems to be like a wheel.
But maybe they will do this time with McLaren. Maybe they will allow him to bed in.
Island of hair.
Well, I think he's
full Martinez.
I think he's fantastic.
McLaren, go full Martinez and just shave it all off. You'll feel better about it once it's
fantastic.
Fantastic.
I think the thing is, they bought Ronaldo in the summer. He's been good for them, hasn't he? He's got a lot of goals.
They've got good players.
The kid up front I don't rate. The Mitrovic.
What about the £40 million man?
I'm not going to say too much because we played him, but he's up and down. He looks a really good player one week and then he looks bang average the next week. So it's going to take some time. I think what you would look at them to do is have someone in who's going to bring the youth through, bring their own players through. You think of Newcastle, like when Stephen Taylor come through all those years ago, Gascoigne, ones of their own beards leaving the north, when you're going back over time, you love their own players, and that's what they used to have. An unbelievable youth set up at Newcastle. It was really, really strong, and there was players who were banging on the doors, and I think that's what you've got to do. McLaren done it at Middlesbrough. He had a lot of younger players in the side. But I think for Newcastle to get it right and move forward, the ideal is to create a strong core of players and then sprinkle it with extra signings to try and take
I think what makes sense as well is though, two players we've mentioned there, Shelby and Townsend, they're established Premier League players.
They're not French.
They're not French for a start, and you know they haven't gone and bought them from the French division. They've bought Premier League calibre. And I think, you know, whatever you think about those two players or their attitudes or whatever, they do know the way around the Premier League, and they've done bits and bobs in Premier League. So I think that's a massive help because, you know, you remember when they had they've had players in the last few years who've known the way around the Premier League, you know, and that's when they were at their best. And the last couple of years, having all these foreign players in all at once just didn't seem to make any sense.
Well, it's hard. It is like boom and bust. The summer, when they should do good business, carefully thought out stuff, they'd always underachieve, buy players. You'd be thinking, where have they got in from? And then they hit a brick wall, get to January, and then panic and have to bring along. I don't think you can bring in 8, 9, 10 players in January and expect it to work or whatever, you know. But I think
that's enough about Newcastle. Us, right? This is a big game for us. Okay, we've just won an FA Cup game. What did he do? We've, you know,
our last Premier League win was against Newcastle.
Exactly. You know, that's how long ago it was.
Day.
Boxing Day was the last time we won a Premier League game. It was against Newcastle. We seriously need to win this game. You know, go to Stoke on Saturday. This is a big game for us, and you know, okay, we've won that FA Cup game, but coming off the back of a League Cup defeat at Manchester City in the semi-final, this game it's massively important that we get the 3 points in this game. So, you know, starting wise, I mean, you know, do we bring John Stones back?
I wouldn't. He will, but I wouldn't. I think I wouldn't bring the keeper in. I mean, for me, and people might laugh, but this is the biggest game of the season for me because it's a game where if we get these are 5 or 7 points behind us, if they win, it's the touching distance. You know what I mean? We've won 3 home games.
And it's one of those weeks as well where you've got 2 games quite quick, and there can be a lot of movements in the Premier League this week, and suddenly you go, oh, sugar, you know, George Osborne, or you know, you look at it like that,
or you win them,
and
the next minute you're going, God, we're only actually 4 points behind 60 or 50 or whatever. The keeper, I wouldn't touch, but we know because he's come in and done well. But
if you want to galvanise the crowd at Goodison Park on Wednesday, start Joe Robles. If you want the crowd already in a bad mood, start Tim Howard. It's up to you, Senor Martinez. That's up to you. But if you want the crowd a little bit happy, going, fancy this tonight, start Joe Robles. That's all I can say. Get it done.
I personally would leave Murray and Jags in. Just give Stones a little bit of a blow. Just let him get his head together for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And
then put him back in, nice and refreshed, and go again. Obviously, Coleman at right back, Bainesy back in at left back. Midfield, Gareth Barry, he's had the rest. It'll be a week's rest, won't it? Get him in the midfield. But obviously, James McCarthy, got a good 90 minutes under his belt at the weekend. Put him in there. This is where it is ahead of that. Then does Lennon stay in?
Can someone please tell us from Everton Football Club where Mo Besic is and is he fit? Can someone tell us? Can someone just relay that information to us just so we know?
I thought the manager said he had a chance of being fit for Wednesday.
What Wednesday?
He said Newcastle. He said fitness test for Morales on Sunday. Morales wasn't in the 18.
Yeah.
And then he said Besic should be okay for.
See it in April.
So see it at the end of March.
Can you just tell us? Can you just so we know? So we can get our calendar, put a big circle, big heart round it.
When so he might be back. But that's.
So when you put a heart, when he says 14th of February, and you put a heart round, and your missus gets that excited, and you're like, in your head, you're just thinking, Mo, throwing those tackles in. That's what it's all about.
Right. So back into midfield. You know, Gareth Barry, James McCarthy, Tom Cleverley on the left, Ross Barkley, who plays right. Delafeu or Aaron Lennon?
Delafeu, Aaron Lennon plays on the left.
And you'll play Cleverley on the left. So, Aaron Lennon or Delafeu?
Delafeu.
Really?
Yes, because
You know how much I love
I play Delafeu every single game.
I absolutely love him, right? But I would start Lennon.
That's fact.
I'll tell you why. Just because I thought he played that well. And yeah, it was Carlisle, of course.
I'm not going to argue with you about
I thought he'd done really well. He scored a goal and created a goal.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to do something with a player like that and to give him a pat on the back is bounce him in there for an hour if the game's flat or if it's tight or if Lennon's just getting tired, throw Jerry on. Jerry can do half an hour and he could destroy them in half an hour. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's how I will play, because I think what he needs to do now to build momentum, because we haven't got any momentum, is start making some of these ballsy decisions. The John Stones on the bench, Tim Howard getting burgers, Aaron Lennon in the side. You know, them kind of big decisions will galvanise the crowd and it'll make people go, I have actually got to perform to keep my place, not, yeah, I'm just back in the side.
And also, surely Martinez has got to be feeling the heat. I mean, so many fans out there at the moment, you can't hide from it.
He just won 3 now.
So many fans out there, they want him out the club. There's no hiding from that. There's a lot of fans. Now, whether people think people on social networks is a minority, I don't think it's a minority. I think social networks is where you find a really good percentage of the fans. You know, it's like anything. It's like when there's an election and they poll the people that are walking out, it might be a small fraction of the people, but they represent a larger part of people, and I think it's the same with social networks.
We asked the question last week, and it was literally just to ask a question because there was so much negativity about the manager. So just put the poll out of, have you had enough, or does he need more time? And there was 2,000 people, I think, voted, which is quite, it's bigger than any, it's bigger than any cross section for things like the general election and things like who watches Gogglebox and stuff like that. And 82%, I think, said they'd had enough. That's quite a big thing. Personally, I think,
and I like to think our viewers are not like just an angry mob. It's a cross section as well. We're not here pushing out one narrative. We're talking about all of it. We haven't sat here once and said we want rid of the manager. We sat here going, we want the managers to start
making some
doing sensible things.
I think if he what I would rather do, because I can't really be arsed with sacking the manager and starting all over again. I just want him to make the decent. You know what I want him to do? Start doing the things we all see. Like, so if Everton, if we get beat at home by Newcastle on Wednesday and we're crap, I want him to come out and go, we were crap. We weren't phenomenal. Yeah. We weren't on the edge of something. We weren't building. We're not learning. I just want to come out and go, we were crap.
What did he say against Carlisle? It was like a festival of football or something, or festivity of football.
It was phenomenal the way we dealt with the situation of the game.
That just take heat off yourself. By, and I'm not going to say this because this shouldn't be, but not
you
like,
are saying it.
Not like, don't listen to the fans by making decisions, but listen to the fans, because there's a lot of us, and
I just think
we are seeing all the things.
I think I think this is a big few months for him, and it's whether my fear is 18 months have been crap under him really. There's been sprinklings of fantastic stuff, great attacking play. He's brought some really, really good players in. But there's seen the same mistakes that 12 months ago we were defending him, going, all right, this is his first rocky patch. Give him cut him a bit of slack, because last year was great. 12 months later, we're still seeing the same mistakes. And if that continues, then I will get to the summer and go.
A lot of the media getting onto this now, and the reason why a lot of media, you've all seen the Paul Mason video, and some people think it's great, and some people go, what's it got to do with him? And you've seen other people butt in, and the reason people are starting to show a little bit of interest, it's not because they care about Everton, it's because of the Golden Child, it's because of John Stones, it's because they're all looking at it, and John Stones is a big story because he's got a big price tag. You all know he's going to end up at one big club, whichever one it is. So suddenly he is going to be the golden child. But he's also the golden child of English football as well at the moment, playing for England. Oh, we're going to have to fit Bobby Moore kind of player at the back for us. And they're all worried that this great English player is going to be stopped in it because of the way he is.
What you've got to think of though as well is it is a big story, because I haven't heard people going, yeah, but Everton are crap, so apart from Rob Lee, quite ironically, who's a West Ham fan and played for Newcastle.
Chris Sutton as well.
Our two biggest, Chris Sutton, mate. Chris Sutton's about as relevant as Marmite on bacon rashers.
That's all I do on that. Wow.
It's not relevant. That's what I'm saying. Chris Sutton. Christopher Sutton, even say the
Someone
name.
at the moment is writing us a very angry comment going, I absolutely love Marmite on bacon fries. How dare you?
Bacon rashes.
Get bacon rashes, bacon fries, depending if you go to Aldi. I am getting in touch with my local ombudsman about this appalling channel.
Asked it actually. There's a supermarket that has bacon bites.
You just get free advertising.
That's why I covered it over. Forget Chris Sutton, but a lot of people, like on Saturday there was people like Rob Lee, I mean, I'm trying to laugh when I say the name Rob Lee. It was like, yeah, Everton deserve to be where they are because they're not that good. And like Mark Schwarzer, he doesn't really love us, just kind of looked at him as if to say, lad,
you're
get off.
Glaw.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to say. I'll have your guts for garters. Thought Alf Thingy was going to bounce in. Alf Stewart was going to bounce in. And he basically said, Ailsa was behind him going, and he basically said that Everton should be a lot higher because of the players. They've got Michael Owen yesterday said how Everton aren't in the top 3 or 4 is unreal because the
Michael Owen also said that the pitch should have been watered.
No, I know that, but he's yeah, all right. But Paul Mason Saturday, our Leicester above Everton. There's so many people are looking at that Everton side going, hang on, you'd have Coleman all day long, you'd have Baines all day long, Stones everyone wants, Jags is a good you go Delafeu, Barkley, Lukaku, Kone, just to see whether you were still listening. Yeah. And they go, how are Everton where they are? And so this is down now to the manager to go, stop making excuses, stop getting the Al Men in Black one out like Paul Mason said.
That was amazing.
It was amazing the way he said it. And start looking and going, what are the fundamental problems of this team? We can't defend very well. The biggest problem for Everton is they don't work hard enough when they haven't got the ball. That is the most fundamental thing. If they worked hard, it wouldn't even be an issue. So we can have all the lovely matador football, right? But put the hard work in. Put a goalie in who can actually save shots.
Catch.
You know,
throw.
Stop getting your defenders to dribble out in the back. Start working hard and get us someone who can actually play on the left-hand side.
Do all those things.
Do that. And I honestly think you could be onto something. But if you continue to go, la la la, with pencils up your nose and undies on your head,
Tim Howard.
Nothing's going wrong, we're still amazing, with the great, everything's phenomenal, then fans will just get to summer and just go, right, we're done now, let's get someone else. And in 3 years, let's be honest, 3 years is a good enough length of time for a manager. It's a lot longer than some managers.
Some managers only give themselves 3 years and go, I'm going to win, blah, 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 3 years, then I'm done.
Like Klopp. Pep Guardiola's just signed a 3-year deal at Man City.
Pep and Mourinho, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? So 3 years is good enough to go. Stop telling everyone that you're building.
And don't forget as well, when he took this team over, this was a top 5, top 6 team. He then broke that ceiling and made it a top 5 with the highest ever points ever in the Premier League. That would have got us Champions League like every other season.
Every other year.
And I think every season did it last season and probably one day this season. So let's stop kidding ourselves and saying, oh, well, the job's, it's an unbuilt job. He had the job, and he's actually took us down.
At the moment. So really, he just needs to make that sink in. But if we do finish low down, then obviously that's something needs addressing in the summer. But at the moment, people aren't happy, and because they're not seeing the leadership. That no one wants to come out of the match where it's been frustrating. And here, we were fantastic. Yeah. We were brave. And you want to hear no. They were crap today. And that's what, because then you go, you know what? He's seeing what we're seeing.
Exactly. That's all we want.
That's what we want. But we want to win this game, and we've got to win this game.
Got to win it. And you know what? If we defend like we did against Carlisle, where it's just basic defending, if we defend the way we did in the first half against Manchester City, where it was just basic defending, we'll get 3 points out of this. We'll just go in there, we'll get a couple of goals, we'll just defend, and that's...
The thing with these, mate, right, and it's the way McLaren plays, because he likes to play football, these are wide open at the back. We will get 10, 15 chances. It's up to us. That's
what we need to do. Just defend, nick a couple of goals and see it through. Said this couple of weeks ago against Swansea, or last week in Swansea, it's just a simple case of now just winning the games. Like we did like nearly this time last year when we went on that like 6-game unbeaten run or whatever it was.
Where we just, 5
out of 6 when we just got the goal.
Well, it started with these, didn't it? We beat these.
Let's do that again.
You know, the other thing before you wrap it up, what I want to do, I want us to be able to do instant match reactions, talking about a Premier League win and being happy, going, woohoo!
Yeah, you know what? I don't really like being miserable after the game and having to talk about it. It's not actually that nice. And yeah, I found myself doing it like every week for like God knows how long. So can you just like give us a little bit, give us something to smile about?
Win a game,
please.
3 home wins since April. It's February. Come on, please.
Please. Right, tell us what you think about this game. Is it a potential banana skin? Will we slip over on this one?
Potential what?
Banana skin? Or is it a big 3 points? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on for the big 7,000. Get us there, please. We're on Toffee. We're on Twitter. It's at Toffee TV1. We're on Facebook even. We're on Facebook. Facebook.com. Facebook.com. I've said worse, Jake. I've said worse. You haven't been watching recently. Facebook.com/Toffee TV. Yeah, see. There you go.
Give us a like.
Thanks for watching. Give us a like, comment, all that. See you later.